Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick video about these things here. These are the Nexus X and the Nexus XR from Radiomaster. They were originally designed to be little flight controllers that would work with something called rotor flight in the back of little helicopters. And I thought these could actually be a fantastic fixed wing stabilizer, and I'm very pleased to say that the INAV developers listened to my request, and as of INAV 9.0 they have added support for these, so you can flash these with INAV and you can connect up your servos, your receiver, even a GPS. You can also connect up things like a HD FPV on-screen display system, so you can have an OSD and everything else. It's actually a really neat way to add a very small compact stabilizer into your fixed wing model. However, just be aware that this doesn't include any kind of power distribution board. It's going to need to be powered from the 5-volt supply coming in from the ESC that you connect to it, or 5 volts from something else. So you would kind of replace your receiver with this, and then you would kind of plug everything into it. I have already done loads of INAV for Beginners series. The setup is exactly the same with this as it would be with any other flight controller from SpeedyBee, Maytech, Team Black Sheep, Holybro, whoever. There's no difference with that. The only wrinkle, and it's not really a wrinkle, is that because these were actually designed for a helicopter and the outputs are all kind of marked up as such, the way that the INAV team have done it is actually quite smart. There's actually 6 UARTs available in here, and they're all for specific things. So UART 5, for example, in the XR is where the inbuilt Express LRS receiver talks to the flight controller. Things like UARTs 3, 4 and 6 are presented on the sides on these A, B and C ports, and UARTs 1 and 2 can be turned on or off, and will actually repurpose some of the PWM pins as a UART. Now, if none of that makes any sense to you, don't worry. If you're interested in me making a mini series where I actually step you through all this, then do let me know down below. But if you are vaguely familiar with INAV, I'm going to go through some of the wrinkles in a little bit of detail. So let me jump on the bench, go through this, talk about how the ports all map and how you can assign things like the PWM outputs to be UARTs, but also talk a little bit about the PWM output timers, because it has been designed for a helicopter, but because INAV is so cool, we can repurpose the outputs to either be servos, motors, or a combination to suit the kind of model type that you have. So as I mentioned in the introduction, there are 2 versions of this little Nexus. The Nexus X, which is what I would get if you're going to be using some kind of S-Bus receiver, plugging it into the S-Bus pins here at the end, configuring UART1 inside INAV for a serial receiver. Don't worry, we'll get into a little bit more of that in a moment. And then we have this, which I would recommend getting your hands on if you've already started to invest in Express LRS radio systems, because not only does it have the flight controller with several UARTs here at the side, and these UARTs all come with cables in the box, so you can just clip them in, so it limits the amount of soldering and messing about. The pins are already installed for those of you that don't like to mess around soldering pins, and I absolutely get that. It's not my favorite thing either. Everything is inside one little box, and as I mentioned in the introduction, it's physically quite small, so this potentially could fit inside a model that isn't really designed to have a receiver and also a flight controller in it, because if it will fit a normal PWM size receiver in, this can be installed and used as a stabilizer running INAV in a fixed wing model. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to have to install INAV on it. So what we're going to do is plug it into the computer. And again, this setup is going to be very similar to lots and lots of other INAV stuff on the channel. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, assuming that you're reasonably au fait with INAV. If you want me to go through this in tons of detail, do let me know. But here on the computer in INAV Configurator, we're going to flash the firmware like we normally do. Make sure you have Nexus X selected. There's only one target for this, and it is for both the Nexus X and the XR. Choose the latest and greatest version. It's going to be probably later than that when you get your hands on it. Click on Load Firmware and click on Flash Firmware. And that is then going to install the firmware on this, and it'll probably take about 40-50 seconds. Just let it sit here, don't touch it, and just let it go through the process. I'll skip to the end of this bit, and then we can talk about how the ports work and how the pins work at the end as well. So now that the Nexus has been flashed, we can connect to it for the first time with INAV, and now it's a little INAV flight controller. We can decide here at this point what we want it to be in. I think most of these are going to go in some kind of plane, so it's either going to be a plane with a tail, and then we can decide whether we want it to be a V-tail or a traditional tail, or I would probably use it inside a wing or something like that. So I'm going to click on wing, it's going to reboot it. And when it comes back, it's going to ask us for the default connections for some of the pieces. Now, the receiver wizard is going to ask us where the receiver is connected. Now, on this XR, the inbuilt Express ELRS receiver in here connects to the flight controller on UART5. So this is correct. If we were flashing it onto the Nexus X instead, then we would select UART1 because UART1 is going to enable the S-bus input. But as we are using the XR here, let's just say accept the defaults. We're going to ask us for the GPS port as well. Now, we're going to talk about how the ports all relate, but let me just say, let's just go for UART4 for the moment. Select the defaults and say OK, and it's going to go through one more reboot. When it comes back, it's going to appear on the screen as a little wing because that's what it's configured as. Now, by default, it's going to have the end with the pins as the front of the model. So if I lift that up, you'll see that the wing on the virtual plane, so I can kind of fly it around like a little joystick using this now. So when you install it into the model, you would have this end the way pointing towards the front of the model and the antennas for the Express ELRS sticking out the back. You can change the orientation using the alignment tool, but just double check this because on the other Nexus, it does have an arrow pointing towards the other end. This would normally be the front. So just double check it. On this one, it's kind of working the right way. So that's all working really well. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to power it off because the Express ELRS receiver has already gone into Wi-Fi mode, and this is the standard Express ELRS receiver in here. So if you power the Nexus XR via the USB cable or via the 5 volts via one of the pins, if you leave it for 30-60 seconds, it'll time out, and then you can access it via the web interface, just like you would any Express ELRS receiver. So what I'm going to do very quickly, let me just disconnect and power it. Let me turn on my Express ELRS radio that I have here at the side. Let me power this up again.
Telemetry connected.
Connect again via INAV. And now we see, because I've already bound this, the Express ELRS status light has gone blue. If we jump into the receiver tab, as I move the controls on the radio, we can see that everything is working. So the Express ELRS receiver is talking to the flight controller inside the Nexus over UART5. So let me spend a couple of minutes explaining how these ports work. So if we jump into the ports tab, we can see we actually have quite a lot of UARTs available on this little Nexus XR. At the moment, we have UART4 configured as GPS. That's actually the A port at the side. We also have UART5 is configured as the serial receiver, and UART5 is the one that by default is used for the Express ELRS connection inside too. So how does it all map? Well, the cool thing is we actually have it on the documentation in INAV. So here on this page, and I'll link to it below, I've asked the INAV developers to make this a little bit clearer because it is a little complicated. This is how all the pins map. So here are the 9 output pins that are here at the end of the flight controller, and they are labeled S1, 2 and 3, tail, escape or ESC, RPM, telemetry, auxiliary and S-bus. And that is because this is really designed to go inside a helicopter. However, they are multi-purpose pins. You can use them for lots of different things. So If you don't want to use any of these pins as a UART, you can leave them all as PWM output pins, and you can connect 9 different things to it. And that's going to be more than enough for even quite complicated planes. You're going to be able to connect all your motors and all your servos to the outputs. However, as I mentioned, if you are going to be using S-Bus, then you need to enable UART1, and that then turns the S-Bus and auxiliary pins here at the very end into the transmit and receive pins for an S-Bus receiver to be plugged in. So in the ports tab in INAV, we would set up UART1 to be the serial receiver port and set the receiver protocol to be S-Bus, and we can plug our S-Bus receiver in there. If you also then wanted UART2 to be used, you can repurpose the TLM and the RPM pins to be UART2 transmit and receive. So you can have additional UARTs for other things if you are running out of places to plug stuff in. However, the fact that we already have our receiver connected to the flight controller means that, unless you're using S-Bus, you could probably leave it as it is. As we scroll down then, we can see that port A here at the side is going to be UART4 in all situations. So we've configured that for the GPS. I'll plug that in a moment and show you that working. On the other side, we have ports B and C, and port B is always going to be UART6, port C is always going to be UART3. So a little bit complicated, but hopefully that explains how it works. So if you are using this one with the XR, we've done most of the hard work. So what I'm going to do, let me just jump back into INAV configurator and just disconnect, because I don't want to plug peripherals in with it powered. Let me plug in the GPS into port A, which is UART4. I've wired it up. I'll give you a close-up of how it's actually wired. Make sure that the transmit and receive pair are the right way round. I got that wrong when I was first playing with this. So that now has the GPS connected. Let me plug that into the computer. GPS is powered.
Telemetry recovered.
Radio is reconnected. Let's connect back to the flight controller. We can see we now have the GPS loud and proud. We can see that we have GPS telemetry packets coming in. It's waiting to get a lock. That looks fantastic. We can see that if we go into the receiver, our receiver is all working as well. Looks pretty fantastic to me. So in terms of the ports, we have the options for UART1 and 2 if we want to use either of these to repurpose the final 4 pins here, which are called RPM, telemetry, auxiliary and S-Bus, depending on if we want to connect other things. Or then we can have the other 2 ports, as we've looked at in the documentation. Ports B and C, which are on the other side, can be used for other things. Port B is going to be UART6 and port C is going to be UART3. That is where I would plug in things like my DJI-04 or my Walksnail unit to get my HD FPV on-screen display stuff all working. So that is now ready to be set up, go through the accelerometer calibration and set up the servos and other pieces. Let's talk as a last thing about the servos, because the servos are a little bit interesting as well, the way the timers work. So if we go into the mixer, we can see here that by default, the mixer has configured the outputs for a flying wing. So we have 2 elevons, and that's because that's what we told it when we were setting everything up. If we go down here, we can see that the way the timers are organized is the first 3 outputs, servos 1, 2, and 3, are on 1 timer. So that I'd just like to set these. I would set that as servos because that's where I'm going to plug them in. Timer 1 is set for motors, and that is the ESC output. So you only have a single ESC on your little plane. That is where you're going to plug it in. You have these other options as well. So outputs 4, 6, and 7, which are going to be your tail, RPM, and TLM outputs. And again, these 2 here would be repurposed if you enabled UART2, you can set these for whatever you want as well. So if you would want maybe another ESC, then you know what, you can turn these into motor timers as well, and that means that you could then run them, you know, D-shot or whatever you want for additional motors on the model. Maybe it's a twin, maybe it's a VTOL, although to be honest, probably don't quite have enough outputs on here for a VTOL. But if I had additional motors, I would turn those into a timer that's configured for servos, so I'd set that for servos. However, if I needed another motor and it was a twin on something like a plane, then I would probably set it to be something like motors instead. Again, if you are using S-Bus on this, you're going to lose S8 and S9. If you enable UART2, you're going to lose as well. You're going to lose S6 and S7. So it is very, very versatile how you can set this up, and it's going to be absolutely perfect for small wings and small planes. And because it's so small and compact, and in the box you even get things like your double-sided foam tape, this is going to be a fantastic option for those of you that want to get some stabilization into your plane or wing in a nice small package. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Painless 360 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.